On tape. Joining me now is Jon Schweppe. Jon, terrific what you were doing, standing up in support of the protesters, and it did seem like that security guard was being polite. But again, I wonder what was going on in his mind. Who sent him out there? Do you have any idea?
Well, our thoughts are that it was the NBA sending a directive down. I mean, this happened in Philadelphia the night before. That's actually why we decided to go, was because we saw two protesters in Philadelphia who had their signs removed and were removed from the arena. So my buddies and I were like, okay, we need to go, do something about this, see what the NBA is actually going to do. And, the gentleman you just showed on the video, obviously just doing his job, kind of felt bad because that ended up getting like 2 million views on Twitter. But look, I mean, that's the policy. They are kowtowing to the Chinese government, and it's pretty sad.
What got you involved in this? I know one of your colleagues, Pat Hedger, I believe is his name, actually lived in Hong Kong for a while. Wait, do you have a personal connection with Hong Kong?
I have a personal connection to the NBA. I mean, I'm one of the biggest NBA fans out there, and I've watched in the last couple of years as they've become the most woke sports league in America, constantly weighing in on political controversy after political controversy, actually using their power to try to impact North Carolina state law, removing the All-Star game from there a few years ago. Right. So, I've been following that, and it's just this glaring hypocrisy when it comes to China. I mean, here we have protesters in Hong Kong, demonstrating for democracy and freedom and liberty. The NBA claims that it advocates for these human rights, and then when it comes down to it, money talks, and they're more interested in profit in China than they are in standing up for their supposed values.
Now, did they deter you in any way? I mean, are you going to try this again?
No, I think we made our point. I'm hoping that other people try this again because, look, this is something we should stand with those protesters in Hong Kong, and more importantly, we should stand against prohibitions on speech on American soil. And that's what it comes down to. It's really incredible that they're censoring political speech at these games here on American soil.
It really is extraordinary, and it's in many different ways. But with regard to this, I'm just wondering if they would be more tolerant if they had some message supporting Colin Kaepernick or something like that. I mean, because of their political correctness, I would imagine that they would be more tolerant of other messages displayed as you tried to display yours.
It's fair to wonder that, right? Because we've seen NBA players constantly protesting Black Lives Matter, all sorts of slogans on their uniforms, that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to this, oh, we're the NBA, we don't do politics, we just want to shut up and dribble. It's kind of ridiculous to think about.
It sure is. Now, this is deadly serious. We laugh about some of it because the Chinese president was just through an ominous warning at protests. He didn't pinpoint Hong Kong, but he said that any attempt to divide China will end up, and I'm quoting him here, in crushed bodies and shattered bones. I mean, these people are totalitarians. We must not forget that. And yet that's the kind of people that it seems like the NBA is, if not supporting, at least protecting.
And other corporations. I mean, it's not just limited to the NBA. And look, I think we have to consider, our relationship with China from a business perspective and from a policy perspective. But look, they are not our friends. They're adversaries. They certainly look at us and have a war footing with us. And so I think we really need to reconsider some of these relationships, reconsider whether, trade in every instance is worth it when we're seeing them, exporting their values over here to the United States and our corporations imposing Chinese values on American citizens. It's really unbelievable.
Now, as I'm sure you realize, the NBA, it's not known exactly how much they get from China, but it's estimated, because they're not up front with it, that they get $4 billion a year. That's the estimate from all of their business with China. Do you think there's any way that they would be willing to sacrifice that for principle? That's kind of a tough sell to a corporation.
I think NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is doing his best here, given that situation, because he's answering to 30 owners who want to make a profit as well. But look, China is a huge, huge market. right? 1.3, 1.4 billion people, and basketball,
and
from what I understand,
they love basketball.
Exactly. They love basketball. It's a growing market over there, and so I think the NBA is looking at this as, you know, their potential revenue streams into the future, and they're wanting to make a buck, man.
Forgive me for interrupting, but what we're looking at right now, we can't ignore. These are American flags, standing for liberty, of course, as it always has, held up by protesters in Hong Kong. I mean, that's what really gets to you about all this, where they use the American flag and American identity as a means, as the base of their confrontation with the communist ideology. We should be proud of that, not trying to suppress it in any way.
Absolutely, and that's why I think this is a bipartisan moment. I mean, you saw people talking about this issue from both sides of the aisle. I saw Cory Booker, you know, tweeted about it and kind of called the NBA out for being progressive on domestic issues and then not when it comes to China.
Yes.
So I think this is a building movement, and we need to, you know, hold the feet to the fire here and let people know that we don't stand for standing with, you know, the Chinese regime.
Jon Schweppe, we appreciate what you did, and we appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.